With caffeine being one of the most overused drugs in the world, I feel like it's important to understand how it works and how it will affect certain aspects such as your performance and also your sleep. So this video will basically go into how it works within the body, how it will affect long-term usage, and also how it will affect sleep, even if you're one of those people that thinks that a late night coffee will not affect them. So, quick example. Adenosine is something that is produced within the body that will basically send signals to the rest of the body to be like, okay, I'm beginning to feel tired, and start to make you just feel a little bit more drowsy and start preparing you and wind you down to go to sleep at night. Now, caffeine will work as a blocker. So as a psychedelic, it will basically be the black marks and it will close off the adenosine receptors that will get through to the cell. So it normally has a half-life of about 6 hours and a full life of about 10 to 12. So that's why I'll generally say to clients, cut caffeine off about 1, 2 o'clock, just so it doesn't affect your sleep. Because obviously if it's beginning to affect your sleep, you'll then get into a cycle of being more reliant on it the next morning and increasing the amount that you actually consume. Now, if we are working to block these off, so I will get my pen, if we're blocking these off, like so, the body will then work against this to create more receptors. So it can still keep sending them signals in. Obviously if there's more receptors, you're going to have to take more caffeine to fight off the drowsiness level. So just keep building and building and building. And this is where the issue of going cold turkey with caffeine can arise. So if we get rid of all the caffeine that we've been consuming, all these receptors are open and you get a flood of adenosine going into the body. This is where it will cause an issue, and then you will start to feel a lot more tired earlier in the day, even headaches, etc, etc. And that's when we're like, oh, I need another coffee, or I need to get back on coffee just to fight this. Obviously it's something you can work through, but it is the more painful way of doing it. So the way I would say of doing it is slowly reducing the amount of caffeine. I'd always have caffeine in to a certain extent, but to what point are you going to be reliant and it's just no longer working as caffeine for you? Is it not going to aid performance, etc, etc? So if we can actually do that, we're going to start slowly plugging these back up and going back to the original adenosine levels and not require as much caffeine long term to get through the day. So in terms of talking about those that take caffeine late at night and say from about 2 o'clock onwards, we're looking at saying, yes, it might be working to not like reducing the amount of actual sleep you're getting, but it will be reducing the quality of sleep that you will be getting. So if you're not waking up feeling refreshed, you're going to go through the issue of being like, oh, okay, I didn't have a good enough night's sleep, I need caffeine or another kick of caffeine to get me through. That's when this issue will re-arise, and we're just going through a massive cycle of taking caffeine. Obviously, for caffeine, there's not a massive issue in terms of intake. I think it's around 10 grams for an adult for it to be deadly, and that is about 100 cups of coffee. So obviously, that's not something I'm going to talk about because it's quite a high level. If we are getting close to that, I'd really consult your doctor, as that is something that is going to be quite dangerous. But we are just talking on a normal level in terms of like saying, okay, we will use a little bit to stop off the adenosine response to the body to make you feel tired, so it'll aid performance. And then we'll also talk in how it will not affect sleep long term, but it'll help you in terms of your focus whilst trying to get to work. Because there is a very fine line between caffeine working and benefiting the body and then becoming a hindrance and making you feel more tired long term. So this is why we need to discuss this as a topic.